An old man walked in wearing worn work clothes to buy a car. The salesman tossed him the keys to a junker. "That's your price range," he said. The man said nothing, just sent a photo. 5 minutes later, the salesman's phone rang, and the life he knew was over. The salesman dangled the keys like a dog treat. "That's your price range, old-timer." I looked at the keys, looked at him, looked at the rusted Honda Civic behind me with the cracked windshield and the dent in the passenger door that someone had tried to cover with duct tape. I was standing in Mitchell Premium Auto on a Tuesday afternoon in September. The showroom smelled like leather and fresh coffee. Glass cases displayed awards. Dealership of the Year 2023. Excellence in customer service. Flat screens mounted on the walls showed trucks driving through mountains. Families laughing in minivans. Couples holding hands beside convertibles. I was wearing Carhartt work pants. Steel-toed Red Wings caked in dried concrete. A flannel shirt with paint stains on the sleeves and sawdust in the collar. My hands were rough, nails permanently darkened from 30 years of construction work. The salesman's name tag said Derek. He was maybe 30. Gelled hair, bright white teeth. A suit that probably cost more than I made in a week. He had that look, the kind of confidence that comes from never being told no, never being made to feel small. "I'm looking at the new trucks," I said. Derek laughed. Actually laughed, not a chuckle. A full head-back performative laugh that made 2 other salespeople look over from their desks. "Buddy," he said, still grinning, "those start at 60 grand. You look like you're shopping for a lawnmower, not a truck." A woman browsing SUVs with her husband glanced at me, then quickly looked away. Heat crawled up my neck. I'd come straight from the job site because my truck, my 2008 Silverado with 340,000 miles, had finally died that morning. Not sputtered, not coughed, died. The engine seized on Highway 17, and I'd had it towed to my driveway. I needed wheels today, not tomorrow. Today. I'd woken up at 5:30 that morning like I had every weekday for 31 years. Coffee, toast, check the weather app. My wife Sarah was still asleep. She'd worked a double shift at the hospital the night before. Charge nurse, 28 years. The Silverado had started on the second crank, like always. I'd driven to the site, a new medical office building going up on the north side. I was the concrete foreman, 17 guys on my crew. At 7:43 the engine exploded, not figuratively, actually exploded. A sound like a gunshot. The hood buckled, smoke poured out, oil sprayed across the windshield. "Total loss," the tow driver had said. "Engines seized, crankshaft probably snapped, not worth fixing on a truck this old." I'd called my son Michael. He worked at Mitchell Premium Auto, not as a salesman, as the general manager. He'd started as a lot attendant at 19, worked his way through sales, finance, and management. Now at 34, he ran the whole operation. 300 employees, 90 million in annual revenue. "I've got a budget meeting at noon," Michael had said when he picked me up, "but I can show you around first." "No, you go ahead," I'd told him. "I'll browse. We can grab lunch after your meeting." He'd walked inside to his office on the second floor. I'd stood in the parking lot for a moment, looking at my reflection in the showroom glass. Dusty jeans, flannel shirt, concrete dust on my boots. I looked exactly like what I was, a man who'd spent the morning pouring concrete. Then I'd walked inside. "I'd like to see a manager," I said to Derek. Derek crossed his arms. "The manager? Listen, Pops, I'm trying to help you here. That Civic runs fine. It's got 120,000 miles, which for a Honda is nothing. It's clean, it's reliable, and it's what you can afford. Stop wasting everyone's time." "Time?" I kept my voice steady. "I've been standing here 20 minutes. You spent half of that on your phone." "Yeah, because I got real customers to deal with." He gestured around the showroom. "People who can actually afford what we sell." More people were watching now. A family near the SUVs. 2 young guys looking at sedans. They weren't even pretending not to stare. I tried to stay calm. "Look, I just want to—" "You want to what?" Derek stepped closer. "Waste more of my time? Listen, I've been doing this for 6 years. I can tell within 30 seconds if someone's a buyer or a tire kicker." "You?" He looked me up and down. "You're a tire kicker." My jaw tightened. "I have financing pre-approved." "Sure you do." Derek pulled out his phone, started scrolling. "Everyone says that. Then they get to the finance office and find out their credit union approved them for 12 grand at 9% interest. I didn't tell you my bank or my rate. Don't need to." He didn't even look up from his phone. "I've seen 1,000 guys like you come in here thinking they're gonna drive out in a loaded Sierra. Then reality hits." A younger salesman, name tag said Brandon, walked over hesitantly. "Derek, maybe I could help this gentleman while I what?" Derek finally looked up. "Brandon, go back to your desk. I got this." Brandon looked at me apologetically, but retreated. I pulled out my phone, opened the camera, took a photo of Derek standing there, arms crossed, his name tag visible, the dealership logo gleaming behind him. Derek's expression changed. "What are you doing?" "Documenting this conversation. You can't just take my picture without permission. Public place, public business." I tapped the screen, started a voice recording, set the phone on the hood of a nearby sedan. "California's a 2-party consent state for private conversations, but you just made this very public." Derek's face flushed red. "Oh, so now you're threatening me? That's great. Hey Rick," he called across the showroom. "Got a situation here." A man in his 50s walked over. His name tag said Rick Sinclair, sales manager. Finally, someone with authority. "What's going on?" Rick asked. "This guy's taking pictures of me," Derek said, "threatening to post them online or something. I've been trying to help him, showing him vehicles in his price range, and he's being difficult." Rick looked at me, looked at my clothes. I saw the calculation calculation happen in his eyes, the same judgment Derek had made. "Sir, is there a problem?" Rick asked, his tone suggesting the problem was me. "I asked to see premium inventory," I said calmly. "Your salesman refused and directed me to a used Civic. I haven't told him my budget. He's making assumptions based on my appearance." Rick glanced at Derek, then back at me. "Derek's one of our top performers. He's trained to match customers with appropriate vehicles. If he's recommending something, there's usually a good reason. The reason is I'm wearing work clothes," I said. "Sir, I think you're being oversensitive." Rick's voice had that smooth, practiced quality of someone who'd deflected complaints for decades. "Derek's just trying to be efficient with everyone's time. These trucks," he gestured toward the new Silverados and Sierras, "they start at $60,000. That's a significant investment." "I'm aware." "Then you understand we need to qualify buyers before we spend time on test drives and paperwork." "Qualify buyers," I repeated. "Based on what? Credit? Income? Or how I'm dressed?" Rick's smile tightened. "Based on realistic expectations." "Sir, I'm going to be frank with you. You came in here wearing concrete-covered work clothes. You're driving—" He glanced out the window at the parking lot. "I assume that dead Silverado we've all seen parked out there? The one that's been sitting for 3 hours? That's mine," I said. "Then you know it's not worth much. Maybe $1,200 in scrap value. So you'd be financing the full $60,000. And frankly, most working-class folks can't qualify for that." Working-class folks. He said it like it was a disease. My phone was still recording every word. Derek saw an opening. "See? Rick gets it. This is just business, old man. Nothing personal." "Derek," Rick said, a warning in his voice. "Let's keep it professional." But Derek was on a roll now, emboldened by his manager's support. "You know what your problem is? You walked in here expecting to be treated like some big shot, but this isn't Walmart. We sell premium vehicles to premium customers. If you want to be treated like a serious buyer, maybe dress like one." A small crowd had gathered now, the family with kids, a couple looking at SUVs, Brandon watching from his desk with a horrified expression. "Derek, that's enough," Rick said, but his voice lacked conviction. "No, he needs to hear this." Derek was getting louder, playing to the audience. "I'm tired of guys like you coming in here, wasting our time, then complaining when we're honest about what you can afford. You want a $60,000 truck? Get a better job, save your money, come back in 5 years. My hands clenched into fists. I forced them to relax. "Actually," I said quietly, "I think I'll just leave." "Yeah, that's what I thought." Derek turned to Rick. "See, I told you, tire kicker." Rick nodded. "Sir, I think that's probably for the best. We appreciate you stopping by. If your situation changes, we'll be here." I picked up my phone, stopped the recording. 23 minutes, 14 seconds. I looked at Derek, looked at Rick, looked at the crowd of customers watching this humiliation play out like dinner theater. "Have a nice day," I said. I turned toward the exit. "Yeah, run along," Derek called after me, loud enough that everyone in the showroom heard. "Come back when you've got a real job instead of playing in concrete all day." A few people gasped. Brandon put his head in his hands. The family with kids started moving toward the door, clearly uncomfortable. I walked out into the September heat. I stood in the parking lot, sweating in the sun, with no car and no way home. My dead Silverado sat 3 rows over, lifeless and useless. I pulled out my phone, thought about calling Sarah, thought about calling an Uber, thought about walking the 3 miles home and never coming back to this place. Then I looked at the photo I'd taken, Derek's smirking face, the dealership logo behind him, and I looked at the audio file. 23 minutes of Derek's condescension, Rick's dismissal, the words "working class folks" and "get a real job." I opened my messages, found Michael's name, attached the photo, attached the audio file, typed, "This just happened. I'm in the parking lot. No rush on lunch. Take your time with your meeting." I almost didn't send it, almost deleted the whole thing. Michael had a company to run. He didn't need his dad causing drama. But then I thought about every other person who'd walked into that showroom and been judged by their clothes. Every construction worker, every nurse in scrubs, every teacher, every person who worked with their hands instead of sitting behind a desk. How many had Derek humiliated? How many had Rick dismissed? I hit send. Then I sat on the curb in the shade of the building and waited. 5 minutes passed. Through the glass showroom windows, I watched Derek swagger back to his desk. He was laughing about something with another salesman, probably telling the story of the old guy in concrete clothes who thought he could afford a real truck. Rick was at his own desk, typing on his computer, looking satisfied with how he'd handled the situation. Brandon was staring at his desk like he wanted to disappear. My phone buzzed. "Michael, I'm listening to it now. Don't move." Another buzz. "Michael, Dad, I'm so sorry. Give me 5 minutes." Through the windows, I saw Derek's phone ring. He glanced at it, smiled, answered, then his face changed. The smile died. Color drained from his cheeks. He stood up from his desk so fast his chair rolled backward. He pressed the phone to his ear. I couldn't hear words, but I could see his mouth moving. Fast, defensive, apologetic. The call ended. Derek stood frozen for 3 seconds. Then he looked at Rick's desk. Rick's phone was ringing too. Rick answered, listened, then slowly stood up. His face went pale. Both of them looked toward the stairs leading to the second floor. Then they looked out the window. Their eyes found me sitting on the curb. Derek burst through the showroom doors, nearly running. Rick followed, walking fast, his earlier confidence completely gone. They crossed the parking lot at near sprint. "Sir," Derek's voice cracked. "Sir, I'm so sorry. There was a huge misunderstanding. Please come back inside." I stayed seated on the curb. I'm good here. Please. His voice broke, actual tears forming in his eyes. My manager just called. I'm going to be fired if I don't fix this, please. I have 2 kids. I need this job. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Rick arrived, breathing hard. Mr. Harrison, we deeply apologize. There was a serious miscommunication. If you'll come back inside, we'll make this right. How'd you learn my name? I asked. Rick swallowed. Your son just told us. My son? Yes, sir. Michael Harrison, our general manager. Rick's voice was shaking now. He played us the recording. We had no idea. No idea I was his father? I said. Or no idea you were treating a customer like garbage? Derek made a choking sound. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know that I was the GM's dad, or that I was a human being who deserved basic respect. Silence. Other customers were coming out now, watching, phones out. This was about to be all over social media. Who do you think I sent that recording to? I asked. Your son, Derek whispered. He's listening to it right now. 23 minutes, I said. Every word, every insult. Get a real job. Working class folks, all of it. Rick looked like he might be sick. Mr. Harrison, please, let us make this right. Any truck on the lot, any price. The showroom doors opened. Michael walked out, 6'2", pressed navy suit. His face was carved from stone, the kind of controlled fury that's more terrifying than shouting. Behind him came 3 other people. An older man in a sport coat, Dale Friedman, the dealership owner. A woman with a tablet, Stephanie Chen, HR director. A younger man in a polo, Marcus Cole, senior sales director. Derek looked at them, then at me, then back at them. You said you were here for lunch, Derek said, his voice barely a whisper. I was, I said. He was in a meeting. I showed up early to look at trucks. Michael stopped 5 feet from Derek. The silence was suffocating. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. 18 minutes, Michael said quietly. His voice was deadly calm. I listened to 18 of the 23 minutes before I called you. Want to know which part made me stop listening? Derek shook his head, tears streaming now. Come back when you've got a real job instead of playing in concrete all day. Michael's voice didn't rise, but every word landed like a hammer. That part, that's when I stopped listening and started walking down here. I didn't mean, yes, you did. Michael took 1 step closer. You meant every word. You looked at my father, a man who's worked construction for 31 years, who built half this building with his own hands, who's more honest and decent than you'll ever be, and you decided he was beneath you. Derek's legs looked like they might give out. Dale Friedman stepped forward. He was in his mid-60s, silver hair, the kind of presence that comes from owning 3 dealerships and taking 0 shit from anyone. Mr. Patterson, Dale said, his voice cold and formal. I just listened to the full recording. In 30 years of running dealerships, I have never been more embarrassed by an employee's conduct. Mr. Friedman, I can explain. No, Dale said. You can't, because there's no explanation that makes this acceptable. Stephanie Chen tapped on her tablet. Derek Patterson, you're terminated effective immediately for violation of company policy regarding customer treatment and discriminatory behavior. Security will escort you to collect your personal belongings. You're banned from all Mitchell Premium Auto properties. Your final paycheck will be mailed within 72 hours per California labor law. Derek's face crumbled. You can't. I've been here 6 years. Your sales numbers don't matter when you're driving away customers and destroying our reputation, Dale said. You're done. Rick backed me up. Derek's voice rose in desperation. He said the same things. He agreed with me. Everyone turned to Rick. Dale's expression went even colder. Mr. Sinclair, did you also dismiss this customer based on his appearance? Rick's mouth opened and closed. I was supporting my salesman's assessment without doing your own due diligence? Michael's voice cut through. Without asking questions, without treating a customer, any customer, with basic respect? I made a mistake, Rick said quickly. Yes, Dale said. You did. You're suspended without pay, effective immediately. 2 weeks. We'll be reviewing every customer interaction you've supervised in the past year. If we find a pattern, you're done too. Rick nodded, defeated. 2 security guards appeared, large men in Navy uniforms with radios clipped to their belts. Mr. Patterson, one of them said, please come with us. Derek looked at me one last time. His face was red and wet with tears, his earlier arrogance completely shattered. I'm sorry, he said. You're not sorry you did it, I said quietly. You're sorry you got caught. They walked him toward the building. Other employees watched through the windows. The customers who'd witnessed everything were still standing there, some filming on their phones. Dale turned to me. Mr. Harrison, I owe you an apology on behalf of this entire organization. This is not how we do business. This is not what Mitchell Premium Auto stands for. I appreciate that, I said. I'd like to make this right, Dale continued. Any vehicle on this lot, you choose it, you get it at employee pricing. I'll handle the paperwork personally. Michael put his hand on my shoulder. Dad, let them do this. I looked at my son, at Dale, at Stephanie and Marcus standing there as witnesses. I'll pay invoice, I said. That's fair. Nothing more. Dale nodded. Let's go inside. We walked through the showroom together. Every employee stopped and stared. Conversations died. The other customers watched with open curiosity. Through the glass doors, I could see Derek being escorted to his desk by security, gathering his things into a cardboard box. Michael led me to the row of trucks. Which one? I looked at the Sierra Denali, midnight blue, chrome package, leather interior. This one. Good choice, Michael said. He pulled out his phone, made a call. Finance, this This is Michael Harrison. I need invoice pricing on stock number 7824, the Midnight Blue Sierra Denali. Customer is Frank Harrison. Yes, my father. Full documentation, priority processing. I'll be down in 10 minutes. He hung up, looked at me. Dad, I'm so sorry this happened. Not your fault. I hired him. I promoted him last year. I didn't see what he really was. Nobody can see everything, I said. Dale approached with a folder. Mr. Harrison, here's the invoice pricing breakdown. $54,780 before your trade-in. We'll give you $1,500 for the Silverado's frame. Final price, $53,280. My credit union pre-approved me for $60,000 at 4.9%, I said. Dale smiled slightly. Of course you did. Mr. Harrison, I suspect Derek learned a very expensive lesson today about assumptions. Through the window, I watched security walk Derek to his beat-up Corolla. He put his box in the trunk, got in, sat there for a moment with his head on the steering wheel. Then he drove away. The dealership doors closed behind him. Michael handed me a set of keys. It's yours. Fully detailed, full tank, ready to go. Finance will handle the rest of the paperwork. I held the keys, felt their weight. Thanks, son. Thank you, Michael said, for recording everything, for staying calm, for teaching me how to handle this. We walked outside to the new truck. I climbed in, started the engine. It purred. In my rearview mirror, I could see the dealership, employees standing at the windows, Dale talking to Stephanie, Rick walking out with his own box. Apparently, his suspension had turned into something worse. Brandon, the young salesman who'd tried to help, waved at me through the glass. I waved back. Then I pulled out of the lot in my midnight blue Sierra Denali, the afternoon sun glinting off the chrome. Sometimes people judge you by your clothes instead of your character, and sometimes that judgment costs them everything.